welcome to the tutorial to support the CGF Health and Wellness Survey. Thank you very, very much for listening today, and we really hope that you will participate in this very important measurement and reporting exercise of the Consumer Goods Forum. As you know, with the CGF, we have 5 strategic priorities, health and wellness being one of those priorities, and this agenda has been set by the CEOs on our board of directors. Measurement and reporting is extremely important to us to publicly report on our progress, and as well to enable us to share knowledge and best practices and see where the gaps lie in terms of implementation of our resolutions and commitments. These resolutions and commitments were set by the board of directors in 2011, and we've seen steady progress in terms of the implementation of our resolutions year on year since we began our measurement and reporting. The 4 commitments that we set in 2014, 2 of those have come to term in the end of 2016, our commitment on nutrition and product formulation and our commitment on employee health and wellness. We've seen that we really need to uncover more details on these 2 work streams to help us to continue to improve our progression in these 2 areas. We still have 2 commitments that are outstanding on consumer product information and responsible marketing to children, and we will continue to track progress on these 2 commitments until the end of 2018. So why are we measuring and who reports? Firstly, I think it's really important for your internal teams for them to understand the collaborative movement with all of the CGF member companies and to really empower them to manage and drive this progress internally in your company and to be part of this global collective movement. We also want to make your efforts visible. We know there's a lot of actions taking place by the consumer goods industry, and these will be valued by external stakeholders. When you tell us your story about the actions you're doing, this really enables us as the Consumer Goods Forum to report back on the progress that our industry is making. And we see year on year, we learn from where we're not progressing and where we are progressing, what's happening with our retailer and manufacturer members. And this really helps us in a continuous improvement model and helps us to create a CGF learning series with knowledge and best practice sharing. So you'll see we had 102 members who took place in our survey last year. Thank you very much to all of you for the support and all of the data that you shared with us. Of course, we'd love to increase this in 2017. So please do, if you're listening to this webinar, take the time to report on your actions in health and wellness. You'll see a quick overview of how we progressed in last year's report. We had some wonderful actions that were reported upon. Great increase in the number of products that were reformulated, 180,000, 30,000 communities reached all over the world, 1.3 million employees participating in programs, and much more. There was an increase in the number of reporting and participants. Our resolutions are evolving year on year, but we still have work to do in terms of the implementation of our commitments. And this is something that really we need your help to grow. And we also need to understand why some of our member companies are not implementing the commitments or are not reaching the deadline to enable us to help you to reach the deadline. So what I'm going to do now in the next 2 or 3 minutes is just a quick deep dive into the survey to give you an overview of what you need to do and what we would love you to report on. And of course, if there are any questions at all, the Health and Wellness team of the CGF is here to walk through the survey with you. We can conduct it by phone if you require this. You'll also note when you look into the survey, we have not changed our methodology. We've kept a consistent approach. We have a user-friendly model, which I hope all CGF members will be able to relate to. And we're looking for implement or explain. So if you're not implementing a commitment, we'd love to know why. And that information we share back with the CGF members in our working groups to help them to build out the learning series that I mentioned earlier on. So the Health and Wellness Survey you'll find directly on the Health and Wellness website. And this is the landing page that you will arrive on. You'll see here why it's so important for us that you can complete this questionnaire, why we really need to find out about your actions. The Health and Wellness team can be reached at this email, hw@theconsumergoodsforum.com, and we're here to answer any questions that you have. As we mentioned, we're tracking the resolutions and the commitments that were set by the CEOs on our board of directors. As I mentioned as well, the methodology has not changed. We want to find out about the actions you're taking, policies that you have in place. Are they public? Are they not public? Potential outcomes that you've seen, how you're measuring success internally in your company. And what we've done as well, if you take a look at our online toolkit or our case study booklet, you can see what your fellow members are doing in terms of implementation of the resolutions and commitments. It's really important for us to protect your data, so we have a non-disclosure declaration, which the CGF signs, and also our partner Deloitte, who supports us with the this measurement exercise, and we both signed that non-disclosure declaration, and we'll return that to you to ensure that your data is private, and we also only report in an aggregated format. So when you begin the survey, we want to find out who you are and where you are in the world. So you can tell us which type of a company you are, the name of the person who is conducting the survey itself, what your job title is, your email address, because we'll send you a copy of the report once you've filled in your details. Your address if you'd like us to send a copy. And it's also important for us to know who is the executive internally who will validate the data. This is important as it is self-reporting. It is important for us to know that there is a senior executive who validates the data. So when you get into the survey, you just click the category, whether you're a retailer, a food and beverage manufacturer, a personal care manufacturer, you have both food and personal care, or you're a service provider. We'd like to know when you're reporting from, and we recommend that you pick the previous year, so 2016. We'd like to know where your company is headquartered. And we'd also like to know which percentage of your company's revenue is covered in the survey. So we'd like to know your sales figure, and this enables us to cover how many of our members are reporting. We'd love to know how many of your employees are covered, and this is something that we aggregate and will share in the overall report. We'd like to know what currency you're using. Again, this is something that we aggregate and will share in the overall report. So we'd like to know what are the top 3 factors that have influenced your decision to start working on health and wellness. It could be your consumer insights. It could be based on your product portfolio. It could be your employees that give you insights to work more on employee health and wellness. So as you see, we'll dive into the first resolution, which is all about offering consumers and shoppers a range of products and services that support goals of healthier diets and lifestyles, and we'd love to know, are you running programs in this area? So click yes if you are. We want to know if you've set targets or goals that align with this resolution, and we'd like to know as well how you would describe those goals. So for example, we have set a goal until 2020 that we want to have an employee health and wellness program for all of our people across the globe, for example. We want to find out if you have a policy or a corporate statement that supports this publicly. And then we would like to get into more detail on each commitment that fills into the resolutions. So for example, here you can see the commitment on nutrition and product formulation, which did come to term in 2016, but we did have a low implementation rate of this commitment, and we have a working group who's continuing to work on this area. So we'd still like to know if your policy is public. Where is it public? For example, on your website. If you can provide us with a link that will enable us to find all of those policies that are public and share them for best practice sharing among our members. We'd like to know what type of program do you have in place. For example, I am reformulating and innovating a percentage of my product portfolio. We have introduced products in 2017, for example, and this covers about 81 to 100% of my portfolio, and this presents sales revenue for my company. It would be fantastic if you have a specific number. This will enable us to calculate how many products were innovated or renovated in your portfolio. If you can track this, that would be wonderful to know how many products you innovated for both food and personal care and hygiene. Your R&D budget may be one way of tracking how much you're investing in reformulation. Or there may be other budgets at your company, for example, marketing, which you wanted to share with us how you're working on informing consumers on what you're doing in reformulation. So as a company, I'm a retailer. In this questionnaire, we'd love to know, in this questionnaire, we'd love to know where are you focusing your reformulation efforts? What are consumers looking for? So they're looking for sugar reduction in your private label. They're looking for trans fat. They're interested in hygiene products that do not contain parabens, and any other information that you would like to share with us. If you do have your sustainability report that you would like to share, or you have other reports that you want to share with us, we'd be very happy to get the links to those that information to help us to find out more about what you're doing. So any links or to reports that you have here, it would be fabulous if you could include them. And that comes to the end of the first resolution. So I just wanted to give you an overview of how each resolution is set up. If you're not in that first resolution, you'll see I answered yes to all of the programs. And then, of course, I get more and more questions where I have to detail what I am working on. If you answer no, we'd like to know why you're not doing it. So, for example, I do not plan to offer information on resolution 2. I think we probably will not do this. And we'd like to understand why you're not doing it. Is there something particular that you've heard from your consumers or from employees or from the market situation or your product portfolio? Let us know why you think you will not be implementing this commitment. It's very important for us and for our working groups to better understand this. So again, as you click through, if it is a negative answer, you'll only get the questions that are applied to not implementing a commitment, for example. And here you can see whether it's lack of financial resources, whether it wasn't relevant for your consumer. We'd love to know why. So again, as you work through the survey, the survey really finds out why you are not implementing a commitment. You also have the possibility of not disclosing information if you're not comfortable sharing it with the Consumer Goods Forum. But please do know we will protect all of your data. So I hope that you'll be able to click into the survey and give us your details. We would very, very much appreciate your time and your efforts to be part of it. We launched the survey on the 18th of July. We're looking for your data until the end of September. We will give an executive summary to the CEOs on our board of directors in November. And in early 2018, we will launch the report to all of our internal and external stakeholders. If you have any questions at all, we'd be delighted to help you. You can see on the screen all of the contact details of the health and wellness team here at the CGF. And a big thank you to all of you for taking part in the measurement and reporting survey. Thank you very much.